Now we start from the new topic. Okay, today we will discuss about the projection of solids, right? So earlier we have discussed about the projection of plane, right? So what is the difference between the plane and the solid, right? So plane, we have talk about only a two-dimensional figure, right? Okay, so length and width we have discussed about in the plane, but in a solid we have discussed about the length, width and height. So there are three dimensions we are discussing projection of solids here, right? Now methods are similar to the projection of planes. Okay, so in projection of plane, basically we have discussed about two kind of the problems. One, if problem is resting on the HP plane, okay, and the second one, problem is resting on the vertical plane. So same thing here, we have discussed about the two kind of the problem. Either problem is resting on the HP plane, yeah, either it is resting on the vertical plane. Understand? Hello. All of you understand what is
Yes,
the
sir.
difference between the plane? So in plane we discuss about only two dimensional length and width, but in solid solid we discuss about the three dimension length, width and height. Okay, so now, okay, next slide. Okay, go. Okay, so first of all, what is the definition of the solid, right? So solid means there is a three-dimensional object, okay, which have a length, width and thickness. Okay, solid is a three-dimensional object which have a length, width and thickness. Okay, now either it is completely bounded by the surfaces, okay, yeah, it is bounded by the curved plane, right? So there are two type of the solids. Basically, we have discussed about it. Okay, so solid is bounded by the either. Okay, so for example, like, okay, if I'm connect 2 point, so it becomes a line. If I'm connected number of lines, so it becomes a plane. And if I'm connect number of planes, so it becomes the solid. Okay, so here we have discussed about the projection of solid. So solid is a three-dimensional object, length, width and height. Okay, now go next one. Okay, so first, what is the classification of solid? Okay, so solid is classified into the two main groups. One is a polyhedra and second is solid of revolutions. Now, what is the meaning of polyhedra? Polyhedra means solid which is bounded by the faces. Okay, solid which is bounded by the faces. Faces means plane. Okay, faces means plane. So solid which is bounded by the faces, yeah, it is bounded by the edges, so that is called a polyhedra. Okay, so for example, like prism, so in prism, so it is bounded by the plane figures, so it is a polyhedra. Okay, so second thing is pyramid, so pyramid is bounded by the faces, so it is called a polyhedra. So polyhedra means solid which is bounded by the planes figures, yeah, either straight lines. Okay, so that is a polyhedra. Okay, so all of you understand what is the meaning of polyhedra? So any solid which is bounded by the faces or edges, so it is called the polyhedra. Edges means line and faces means, okay, there is a one right faces like a rectangular faces, triangular faces, that is called the faces. Understand all of you? So
Yes, sir.
solid is
Sir, relation
classified.
on polyhedra.
Okay, one second now. Okay, solid is generally classified into the two category. One is polyhedra and second solid of revolutions. I am talking about only polyhedra right now. Okay, so polyhedra means solid which is bounded by either faces or edges. Okay, edges means line or faces means triangular face, yeah, rectangular face, yeah, pentagonal face. Okay, so that is called the faces. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now next one. Okay, so here we discuss about the different types of polyhedra. Okay, one is prism. Okay, now in prism, top and bottom both have the same faces. Okay, for example, like if I'm talking about square prism, so square prism, bottom is a square face and top is a square face, and all the faces is connected by the rectangular faces, so that is a prism. Second is pyramid. So pyramid, okay, for example, like if I'm talking about like a square pyramid, so square pyramid means base is a square and top is a apex point. All the edges of a base is connected to the apex point. Okay, so I will discuss later on, okay, what is a prism and pyramid. Okay, so just you understand about, okay, what is the examples of polyhedra. Polyhedra means solid which is bounded by the faces or edges. So first one is prism, second one is the pyramid, then third one is tetrahedron, then fourth cube, fifth one octahedron, then sixth dodecahedron, and seventh, okay, icosahedron. Okay, so apart from this seven, we only talk about the first four one. Okay, prism, pyramid, tetrahedron and cube. Okay, so in your third sessionals, okay, your syllabus up to fourth points, okay, 1 to 4: prism, pyramid, tetrahedron and cube. Okay, so apart from this four, okay, any one example may ask in your exams. Okay. Okay, so next one. Okay, so all of you understand, okay, what is the example of the polyhedra? Prism, pyramid. Okay, you just remember these two: one prism and pyramid. Now, okay, here I've given example of prisms. Okay, so what is a prism? So you can see a figure. Okay, so polyhedra, okay, polyhedra have a two equal and similar faces. Two equal and similar faces. It means, okay, you can see the top one is the top one, okay, triangular faces. Bottom is also triangular faces. So these both faces have a same faces. Okay, these both have a same faces. So two equal and similar faces, that is called a and or bases. Now remaining all the sides of the base is connected to the rectangles. All the sides of the base is connected to the rectangle, so that is called a prism. So you just remember here, prism means, okay, polyhedra have a two equal bases, two equal base, and all edges of base connected to the rectangles. Understand? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
this one is the, okay, this one is called as a triangular prism. Okay, for example, like if I want to draw a square prism, so what will happen in a square prism? Bottom and top have a square shape, right? Top and bottom have a square shape, and all the edges of base connected to the rectangle faces. So that is called a square prism. Now, next one, imaginary line joining the centers. Okay, you can see here imaginary lining joining the centers of the faces. Okay, so top one, okay, the center of the top and the bottom of the centers. Okay, center of top and bottom of the center of the bottom, if it is connected by the imaginary line, so this imaginary line, it is called as a axis of prism. That is called a axis of prism. Understand what is a axis of prism? Imaginary line joining the center of base, it is called axis of prism. Imaginary line joining the center of base, that is called axis of prism. Understand? Okay.
Yes, sir.
ओके, टॉप के सेंटर को बॉटम के सेंटर के साथ कनेक्टेड करिए, जो भी आपकी लाइंस है, दैट इज कॉल्ड द एक्सिस ऑफ प्रिज्म. नाउ प्रिज्म मींस टॉप portions and bottom portion have a same shape, okay, and it is connected by the rectangle faces, so it is a prism. Okay, next one. Okay, now prism is classified, okay, prism is classified based on the shape of its base. Prism is classified according to the its base shape. Okay, so here I have subclassified the prisms. So first one is triangular prism. So what is a what will happen in a triangular prism? Top and bottom have a triangular face, and all the edges of the face connected by the rectangle faces, so that is called a triangular prism. So first one is the triangular prism. Now the second one is square prism. So what will happen in a square prism? Top and bottom have a square shape. Top and bottom have a square shape, and all the edges of square connected by the rectangle faces. So it is called as a square prism. Okay. Now next one. Understand? Top and bottom have a same shape in prism. Now the pentagonal prism. Okay. So you can check here pentagonal prism. So top and bottom both have a same shape. Okay. Pentagon shape. Top and bottom have a pentagon shape, and all the edges of pentagon connected by rectangle faces, so it is called as a pentagonal prism. Top bottom pentagon shape, all the edges of pentagon connected by the rectangle faces, so it is a pentagonal prisms. Next one, hexagonal prism. Okay, hexagonal prism. So top and bottom have an hexagon shape, and all edges of the hexagon connected by the rectangle faces, so it is a hexagonal prism. Okay, so I hope all of you understand. Okay, what is the example of polyhedra? Okay, so once again I just revise the definition. Polyhedra means solid which is bounded by the faces or edges, so it is called a polyhedra. Now in polyhedra, example, prism and pyramid. Here we talk about prism. Now in prism, top and bottom have a same shape. top and bottom have a same shape, and all the edges of the base connected by the rectangle faces. So it is a prism. There are four type of, okay, according to the shape of base, we have sub-classified into the prism. So triangular prism, square prism, pentagonal prism, hexagonal prism, okay, and so. Now next, now pyramid. Okay, so what will happen in pyramid? Okay, so in a prism there are two base, one is top base and second bottom base, but in pyramid there is a one base only. Okay, so one base and one apex point. Okay, one base and one apex point. And if all the edges of base, if all the edges of the base connected to the apex point, so it is called the pyramid. Okay, so in pyramid, one base, one apex point, all the edges of base connected to the apex point. Okay, so here I will give an example of triangular pyramid. So there is a bottom shape is a triangular shape, bottom shape is a triangular shape, and top is a apex point, and all the edges of triangle, all the edges of the triangle is connected to the apex point. So this become a triangular pyramid. Now next one is axis of pyramid. Okay, so what is the definition of axis of pyramid? So line, the imaginary line joining with apex and center of the base, line joining center of base to apex, so it is called axis of pyramid. Okay, so in a bottom shape there is a triangle shape, so you will find out the center of the triangle and connect with the apex point. Okay, so this imaginary line, it is called a axis of pyramid. Understand? Hello, all of you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what is a prism and pyramid? Who will define what is the basic difference between the prism and pyramid?
तो प्रिज्म में सर टॉप एंड बॉटम सेम होता है और पिरामिड में अलग होता है.
Okay, very good. So okay, what will happen
प्रिज्म
in a
में सर टॉप एपेक्स होता है प्रिज्म में, मतलब
pyramid में. Okay, pyramid में bottom,
टॉप एपेक्स.
yes, one base, one apex point, and all the edges of the base connected to the apex point. Okay, now in prism में what will happen? There is a
सेम
two,
होता है सर, बेस और
yes,
टॉप.
very good. Okay, so top and bottom have a same shape, and all the edges of base connected by rectangle faces. Okay, so in prism all the edges of base connected by the rectangle faces here. Understand? Okay, good. Next one. Okay, this one is just a theoretical part. Okay, so once you clear this theoretical part, then we go for the numericals. Okay, now same thing here. According to the shape of base, pyramid is again subclassified. Okay, so first one is triangular pyramid. So what will happen in triangular pyramid? Base is a triangular shape, and all the edges of triangle is connected to the apex point, is connected to the apex point. So it is called triangular pyramid. Now in a square pyramid, base is square, all the edges of base connected to the apex point. So it is called a square pyramid. Okay, so in a triangular pyramid, base is a triangle shape. In square pyramid, base is the square. Okay, and all the edges connected to the apex point. Okay, next one, pentagonal pyramid. Okay, so you can see here in a pentagonal pyramid. Okay, in a pentagonal pyramid there is a one pentagon shape here, right? Now pentagon is connected to the apex point, pentagon is connected to the apex point, so it is called a pentagonal pyramid. Then hexagonal pyramid, so the bottom is the hexagon shape and all the edges of the hexagon shape is connected to the apex point, so it is called hexagonal pyramid. Hexagonal pyramid. Understand? Okay, so prism and pyramid is completed here. Okay, prism have an two base, top and bottom, have a same shape, and all edges of a base connected by rectangle faces. Now in pyramid, one base, one apex point, all the edges of base connected to the apex point. Okay, next one. Okay, dodecahedron and icosahedron. Okay, it is not part of the syllabus, just for your informations. Okay, next. Now next is solid of revolutions. Okay, okay, initially we discuss about there are two kind of the solids. One is a polyhedra. Okay, so which is bounded by the faces and edges. Now the second one is solid of revolutions. So solid of revolutions means when the solid is generated by the revolutions of plane figure. Okay, for example, like suppose I will draw one axis. Okay, and surrounding the axis there is a one rectangle faces. Okay, suppose I will draw one axis and surrounding the axis there is a one rectangle faces. If I'm rotate the rectangle faces 360-degree, okay, so it will becomes the cylinder. Okay, for example, like if I'm draw one axis surrounding just beside the axis there is a one rectangle shape, and if I'm rotate 360-degree rectangle, so it will becomes the cylinder. Okay, so solid of revolutions means when solid is generated by the revolutions of plane figure about the fixed line. Okay, plane figure rotate about the fixed line, plane figure rotate about the fixed line. So whatever solid is generated, that is called a solid of revolutions. Example of solid of revolution is cylinder, cone, sphere, ellipsoidal, and parabolic. Okay, so there are the example of the cylinder. Okay, so you just remember, okay, first two, cylinder and cone. Okay, so in maximum times we have discussed about cylinder and cone. So cylinder and cone is an example of solid of revolutions, while prism and pyramid is an example of polyhedra. Okay, understand? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so solid of revolutions means a plane figure. Okay, you just understand a plane figure is rotate about the axis. Okay, if plane figure rotate about the axis, so it is called a solid of revolution. Okay, next one. Okay, now here you will understand what is a cylinder. Okay, okay, just stop. Okay, now this is the axis here. Okay, now you can see here there is a one axis here, right? Now here I want to prepare develop the cylinder. Okay, so how I will develop the cylinder? So first of all I will draw the axis here. Now next, okay, this one is the axis. Now stop, there is a rectangle faces here. Okay, first of all I will draw one axis, then I will draw one rectangle faces. Now if I'm rotate 360-degree this rectangle faces, if I'm rotate 360-degree this rectangle faces, so it becomes a cylinder. So cylinder is the solid generated by the revolution of rectangle about the fixed axis. Okay, go. Okay, so now you can see here. Okay, if I'm rotate the rectangle about the axis 360-degree, okay, so it becomes the cylinder. Okay, go, complete. Okay, so all of you understand? Hello, all of you
Yes, sir.
understand? Okay, so why cylinder is called as a solid of revolution? So solid of revolutions means if plane figure. Okay, so here what is a plane figure? Rectangle. Okay, so plane figure is rectangle and it is rotate about the axis. It is rotate about the axis. So we see, okay, it looks like the cylinder. Okay, so solid generated by the revolution of plane figure about the fixed axis. The solid is generated by revolutions of plane figure about the fixed axis. So it is called the solid of revolution. So this one is the cylinder. Next one. Now in cone, so what will happen in cone? Okay, first we draw the axis. Okay, then we select one plane figure. So here I will select the plane figure triangular shape, right angle triangle. Now right angle triangle rotate 360-degree. Go. Okay, right angle triangle rotate 360-degree. Okay, so it becomes the cone shape. Go. Okay, so it becomes the cone. So cone and cylinder. So in a cylinder, plane figure is rectangle and it rotate about axis 360-degree. Now in cone, there is right angle triangle and it rotate about the axis 360-degree. So this one is the cone. Okay, good. Okay, so base in a cone, base is the cylinder, base is the circle. Okay, in cone and cylinder, base is the circle. Okay.
Sir, your voice is not audible to me now. Uh,
Okay, I will speak loudly. Okay, now it is audible to you. Hello, it is audible to you.
sir, I am rejoining.
Okay, yeah, okay, you can rejoin it. Okay, so wait, just a wait. Okay, good. So in a cone, okay, plane figure is right angle triangle and it is rotate about the axis 360 degree. Okay, now it is audible to you, Preet?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Okay, so now we go for the next one. Okay, next slide. Okay, now ages and generators. So ages and generators have a same meaning. Okay, so if I'm talking about like prism and pyramid, okay, so it is called a ages. Okay, the lines of any faces. Okay, in prism and pyramid, lines separating the triangular faces, separating the rectangular faces. So it is called the ages, right? There is a lines in prism and pyramid, so it is called ages. Now in generators, so generator we have used in cylinder and cone. So in cylinder and cone, because cylinder is not have any edges. Okay, it is made by the infinite edges. Okay, so we call as in a generators. Okay, so whenever we have used the word generators, so at that time you will understand. Okay, in cylinder there is a edges. Okay, now when we have talk about only edges, so there is a pyramid and okay prism, you will understand. Got it? So ages and generator have the same meaning, but in prism and pyramid we have used the ages, while in cylinder and cone we have talked as a generators, right? Next one. Now apex of solid. Okay, so apex of solid means, okay, so in cone and pyramid, apex is the one point. Apex is the one point where all generators are meet, where all generators are meet. So that is called apex of solid. Okay, so you can see here, okay, in a triangular pyramid, all the edges of a triangular is connected with the one point. So that point is called a apex point. Okay, similarly in a cone, okay, so all the generators of the cone meet at a one point. So that is called a apex. So apex of solid means one single point where all edges or generator meet. One point where all generators or edges meet. Understand? Hello? All of you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Now next one. Okay, now here there is a cylinder, okay, and prism. Okay, so what is called a faces, what is called the generators. Okay, in cylinder you can see there is a generators, while in a prism the line is called as a edges. Okay, so you just understand. Okay, now in cylinder and prism. Next one. Now axis of solid. Okay, we already discussed this part. Axis of solid means, okay, what is the meaning of axis of solid? So in a cone and cylinder, axis is an imaginary line which join the center of base to apex point. Okay, so in a cone and cylinder, okay, center of base connected to the apex point. Center of base connected to the apex point. So that imaginary line is called the axis of solid. Similarly, in cylinder and prism, okay, there is a base. Okay, okay, in cylinder there is a two base. One is a circle top and one is bottom. Okay, and we have joined the center by imaginary line, so it is called the axis of solid. Okay, so cone and pyramid, axis is imaginary line joining center of base to apex point, while in cylinder and prism, axis is imaginary line which join base point, which join the two base point. Okay, next, right solid. Okay, now it is very important. Okay, what is the meaning of right solid? Okay, so okay, now you can see in this figure. Okay, here I will give an example of a pentagonal prism. Now in pentagonal prism you can see here base and axis are perpendicular to each other. Base and axis are perpendicular to each other. So solid which is said to be right solid if its axis is perpendicular to its base. Okay, if axis is perpendicular to its base, so that solid is known as a right solid. Okay, so in that, okay, what is a right solid? So solid in which axis is perpendicular to base, so it is called a right solid. Okay, तो जिस solid में आपकी axis base से perpendicular है, तो उसे हम कहेंगे right solid. And if it is inclined, so it is called a oblique solid. Next one. Understand? Right solid means, hello, all of you understand what is the meaning of right solid?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Axis of the solid perpendicular to base. Okay, axis of solid perpendicular to base, so it is a right solid. And if it is inclined to the base, so it is called a oblique solid. So in oblique solid, inclination angle is okay, less than 90 degree, yeah, greater than 90 degree, but it's not the 90 degree. Okay, next, regular solid. Okay, it is a very important part. What is the meaning of regular solid? So solid is said to be a regular solid if all the edges of base or end faces of solid are equal in length. Okay, all edges of base or the end faces of solid are equal in length and form a regular plane figure, so that is called a regular solid. Okay, so if all the edges of base are in an equal length, okay, so that is called a regular solid. If all the edges of base or end faces of this solid are equal length, so it is called a regular solid. Okay, next.
Sir,
Yes,
sir, is there any example of oblique cone instead of right circular cone?
oblique con.
Cone, huh?
Yeah,
Any example? Yeah.
okay, so for example, like if your axis of cone is slightly inclined, okay, it's not the 90 degrees, so that is called a oblique cone. Okay, so it's not the example. Okay, you can use okay, for example, like in applications. So in some applications, for example, like to design the gearbox. Okay, suppose if I'm using one gear, one part, okay, mechanical part, which is not base is not perpendicular to its axis, so at that time it is called as a oblique part.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay, so it's just plain figures. Okay, we just define it. Okay, so most of time we have discussed with the right solids. Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay, yeah, you can use a okay, like a cap. Okay, sometimes your cap axis of cap. Okay, it's not perpendicular to bed, so that is called an oblique solid. Okay, now next, frustum solid. Okay, so frustum solid means, okay, so here I will give you example of square pyramid, right? Now square pyramid or cone, if I'm cut by the plane figures, okay, okay, you can see here, I will select a cutting plane, okay, which is parallel to the base. So when you're cutting plane parallel to base, so what will happen? Your pyramid is divided into two part. One is top part and second one is bottom part. So if I'm remove the top part, okay, so what is the remaining part? So that lower portion is called the frustum of solid. Understand what is the meaning of frustum solid? Okay, I will give an example of square pyramid, right? Now I will cut the square pyramid by plane figures, okay, so your solid is converted into the two part. One is top part and second is bottom part. So if I'm remove the top part, so remaining part, okay, it is called the frustum of solid. Okay, so this is the frustum of solid. Understand? Okay,
Yes, sir.
next. Now
Sir, remaining part मतलब कौन सा part?
remaining part means, okay, next, okay, go to previous slide. Okay, so you can see here. Okay, now what is the top part of this square pyramid? Okay, I will neglect it. So remaining lower portions, okay, this remaining lower portion, it is called the frustum of solid.
Okay, sir.
Okay,
मतलब bottom है bottom side वो frustration of pyramid.
yes, definitely. Okay, so if your square pyramid, yeah, your if I'm talking about the triangular pyramid, okay, so if you cut, okay, and remaining lower portion, it's called the frustum of solid. So because in frustum of solid, base should be required. Okay, in a top portion there is only apex point. Okay, so we have remove the apex part. Okay, so bottom part, that is called the frustum of solid.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, next one. Okay, truncate solid. Okay, so truncate solid means, okay, plane is inclined to the base. Okay, okay, see the figure. Okay, next. Okay, now go to the previous slide. Okay, there is not one figure is mentioned here. Okay, now truncate solid. So truncate solid means plane inclined to its base. Okay, when pyramid or cone is cut by plane inclined to its base. Okay, in previously what will happen in truncate solid, frustum solid, plane figures, okay, cutting plane is perpendicular to the, okay, cutting plane is parallel to the base. Okay, in a previous example, frustum of solid, cutting plane is parallel to the base, but here cutting plane is inclined to its base. Cutting plane is inclined to its base. Okay, and if I remove the top portion, so remaining lower portion is said to be a truncate solid. Okay, go to the previous slide. Okay, now you can check here, your cutting plane is parallel to the base. Okay, cutting plane is parallel to base, and the remaining lower portion is called frustum of solid. But if I'm consider here, plane is inclined to base, cutting plane is inclined to base, so it is called as a truncated solid. Understand? Hello, all of you
Yes, sir.
understand? Okay, so what is the meaning of frustum of solid and truncated of solid? Okay, so in frustum of solid, cutting plane is parallel to base, but in a truncated solid, cutting plane is inclined to base. Okay. Okay, next. Okay, now I given some simple example. Okay, so first of all I will give a one square pyramid which is resting on the HP plane. Square pyramid is resting on the HP plane, one of its sides. Okay, so most of time you have deal like this way. One solid is resting on HP plane, one of its sides, yeah, either one of its corner. Okay, so how will you start to draw first of all? Okay, in a projection of plane, what will you do? Okay, if a plane is resting on HP plane, yeah, it is resting on vertical plane, one of its sides and corner. So in that case, we will draw sides or corner in a left hand sides. Okay, for example, like plane is resting on a HP plane, one of its sides. So we will draw the sides on a left hand sides here. But in a solid, we will change here. Okay, if your solid is resting on HP plane, one of its sides, so sides you will draw on a right hand side here. Understand what I'm saying? If solid is resting on HP or vertical plane, one of its sides, so what will you do? You will draw sides on right hand sides. Understand? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, suppose the solid is resting on HP and vertical plane, one of its corner. So what will you do? You will draw corner on a right hand sides. Okay, so all of you, okay, write down this point in your sketchbook. Okay, open your sketchbook and write down this statement. If solid is resting on HP plane, if solid is resting on HP plane, one of its sides. In that case, first draw side, in right hand side. First draw side, first draw edges in right hand side. First draw edges in right hand side. Okay, all of you mention it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now write down the second statement. If solid is resting on HP or vertical plane, one of its corner. In that case, first draw corner on right hand side. Okay, so all of you mention it. Okay, if you mention it, okay, just tell me. Okay, then we go for the next topic.
Done, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, now next. Okay, I will give an example of square pyramid. Now square pyramid is resting on the HP plane, one of its sides. Okay, so what will you do? Okay, I will draw the square pyramid on a HP plane. Okay, so when you see the square pyramid from the top, okay, if you see the square pyramid from the top, so what will you see in a HP plane? What will you see in a HP
Square.
plane? Square shape.
Square.
Okay, and if you see this object from the front, what shape will you see? Triangular shape. Okay, so very good. Okay, so it is a very important. Whenever you will draw this solid in a XY plane, okay, so there are two shape. One is a true shape of base and second one is your elevations. Okay, if your object is resting on the HP plane, so you will draw two shape. Okay, one true shape of base and second elevations. Okay, so first, how will you start? Okay, first of all, you will draw the true shape of base. Okay, so where we will draw true shape of base? Below xy line or above xy line?
Below XY line.
Below xy line. Okay, it is resting on the sides. Okay, so first you will draw the edges on right hand sides and then complete the square. Okay, go. Okay, so you can see here. Okay, what will you do? First of all, you will prepare the side CD. Okay, first of all, you will draw the edges CD and then complete the square. Okay, so here I will draw true shape of base below xy line. Then you will find out the apex point. How will you find out the apex point? Okay, you join the diagonal points, okay, where intersect, that is a point O. Now from that O point, okay, you will draw one axis, okay, whatever the length of axis, okay, that you will mark above the xy line and join with A dash B dash and C dash D dash. Okay, so here you will draw the elevations part. Okay, so first you will draw true shape of base below xy line, then you will draw elevations part. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay, so if your object is if solid is resting on the HP plane, first you will draw true shape of base below xy line. Second, you will draw elevations. Understand? Elevation, yeah, it is called front view. Okay, next one. Okay, now here I will give example of pentagonal prism is resting on vertical plane, one of its corner. Okay, so what will you do here? चलिए क्या आएगा यहाँ पे? ट्रू शेप ऑफ बेस क्या होगा आपका और प्लान क्या होगा आपका? If object is resting on vertical plane, so there is one is a true shape of base and second one is plan. Plan या it is called as a top view. तो चलिए यहाँ पे बताइए.
Plan equal to rectangle.
Hexagon.
प्लान होगा रेक्टेंगल, वेरी गुड. ओके, एंड ट्रू शेप ऑफ बेस क्या होगा?
Rectangle.
हेक्सागोनल शेप होगा. ओके, ट्रू शेप ऑफ बेस क्या होगा आपका? हेक्सागोन शेप होगा. Okay, so how will you represent in xy plane? Okay, xy line.
Hexagon above the XY line.
Okay, and how will you draw the hexagon shape? You will draw the hexagon shape in such a way that corner should be in the right hand side.
Right hand side.
Okay, go. Okay, go ahead. Okay, very good. So first you will draw the hexagon shape in such a way that corner should be right hand sides. Now then you will find out the axis, okay, and then complete the plan. Okay, then you will complete the plan. Okay, now here there is a one question to around, okay, to all of you. Okay, why should we give two names at each corner? Okay, who will say what is the answer?
One for
faces
top
and
surface and one for bottom
Very good.
surface.
Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
because if you see this object from the front, so top base and bottom base are merging with each other. Okay, so what will happen? Okay, all the two bases you will merging at one shape. Okay, so that's why we will give it two names here. Okay, one is alphabets order is a lower base and numerical order for the top base. So that's why A dash comma 1 dash, B dash comma 2 dash, C dash comma 3 dash. Okay, go next. Okay. Okay, so same thing. Okay, what will you do? From the each corner of the hexagon shapes, you will draw the projections and complete your plan. Okay. Okay, so you can give any one top portion. So if you given a numerical order and bottom given an alphabetical order. Okay, that depends on you. Okay.
सर
Okay,
ऐसा क्यों किया हमने?
Okay, ऐसा क्यों किया? Because every corner, okay, every points, okay, every corner points of your hexagonal prism, we should give one a label. Okay, we should give the label. Okay, so that's why what will you do here? Okay, suppose if I'm given a label, top portions, if I'm given an alphabetical order and bottom will be given a numerical order. So that's say, okay, you will label here. Okay, for example, like A dash comma 1 dash. Okay, in a hexagonal base, A dash comma 1 dash is in a single point, but when you see in a top view, okay, so 1 and A, there is a one line here, 1 and A, there is a one line here, so that's why I will give a name of 1 and A here.
लेकिन सर हम दोनों अल्फाबेटिकल नहीं कर सकते, न्यूमेरिकल
Okay, दोनों alphabetical कर सकते, but what will happen? Okay, if you give an alphabetical order top and bottom, so it will confusing to you. Okay, so which one is correct?
okay.
So for the simplicity, okay, what we'll consider, one is the alphabetical order and second one is the numerical order. Okay, so you just differentiate it. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so very good. Okay, now Preet, I have shared one PDF file also. Okay, so you will open that PDF file. Okay, from the next lab we will start the numericals, but before starting the numerical you should understand about the methods. Okay, so here I will just discuss about the methods. Okay, so from these lectures what will you do? Okay, you will remember these methods and note down the your sketchbook. Okay, so first of all I will explain. Okay, then after you will write down it. Okay, so please rotate it. Okay, could you slide it more? Okay, so
So, will it be possible with this one?
okay, you just okay, make it
Zoom, I can zoom it.
okay. No. Okay, yeah, good. Okay, so first of all of you listen here. There is a two type of method. Majorly we discuss in projection of solid. Okay, 99% problem. Okay, you will solve by these two methods only, right? So first method is solid is resting on the HP plane. Okay, solid is resting on the HP plane. Okay, so you will say that any solid like a pentagonal prism is resting on the HP plane, right? First, you have say that it inclined with HP plane by theta angle. Okay, for example, like pentagonal prism is a square prism. Okay, if I'm giving an example here, square prism is a resting on HP plane, one of its sides. Square prism is a resting on HP plane, one of its sides. Now it is inclined with HP plane by 45-degree angle. Then it is inclined with vertical plane by 60-degree angle. Okay, so this is the problem. Okay, so how will you solve this problem? Okay, okay, now minimize, right? So first step, what is your first step? You will draw true shape of base below XY line. Okay, you can see here. Okay, first of all I will talk about a square prism. So in a square prism, what is a true shape of base? True shape of base is the square. So square I will draw below XY line. Okay, so if your solid is resting on the HP plane, okay, so what will you do? You will do first true shape of base below XY line. And how will you draw the true shape of base? You will draw the true shape of base in such a way that if it is resting on side, so side should be right hand side. If it is resting on the corner, so corner should be right hand sides. Understand first step? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what is your first step? If solid is resting on HP plane, one of its sides, so your first step, draw true shape of base below XY line. Next, elevation above the XY line. Okay, what is your second step? Draw elevations. Okay, so in square prism, base is the square. Okay, and the remaining elevations you will draw above the XY line. So that is your second step. Now third, okay, you have given an inclination with respect to HP plane. Okay, for example, like if I'm talking here, a square prism is inclined to HP plane by 45-degree angle. Okay, so what will you do? You will draw first 45-degree inclinations line, then rearrange your elevations part. rearrange your elevations part. Understand? So in the third step, what will you do? You will draw the inclinations line at theta degree, then you will rearrange your elevations part. Understand? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, third thing, okay, fourth one, what will you do? From the third step, you will draw the vertical projections. From the third step, you will draw the vertical projections. Similarly, from the first step, you will draw horizontal projections. And where it meets, okay, you will draw the reduced shape. Okay, reduced shape. Okay, right? So fourth one is draw the reduced shape. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now next one. In a fifth step, what will you do? Okay, you have given a inclination with respect to vertical plane. Okay, for example, like square prism is inclined to vertical plane by 60-degree angle. Okay, so what will you do? First of all, you will do one 60-degree inclinations line. Then you will rearrange your reduced shape. Rearrange your reduced shape. So fifth one is rearrange reduced shape at 5 angle. Now in a next, okay, from the fifth step, you will draw vertical projections. Similarly, from the third step, you will draw horizontal projections. Where it meets, okay, you will draw the final answer. Okay, so this is the first method. Understand? Hello? Okay, so you just note down these steps in your sketchbook. Okay, good. Okay, so all of you just note down this method in your sketchbook. If you have any doubt regarding this method, you can ask questions to me.
Sir,
Yes.
સર વર્ટિકલ પ્લેન જે ઇન્ક્લાઇન થાય છે તો સર એ પાછું એકવાર રિપીટ કરવું સર.
Okay, so for example, like okay, if I'm saying that okay, the square prism is resting on the sides AB. Okay, resting on the sides AB. Now it is inclined to vertical plane 60 degrees. So what will you do? You will draw the 60-degree inclinations line, and now in this 60-degree inclination line, you will mark the AB sides here. Okay, so if I mark AB, so where is the CD faces? So it will is in the bottom sides. That's why I will mark. Understand?
ઓકે સર. યસ સર.
Okay, now one thing, all of you, please be careful. While you draw the fifth step, so what will happen in a fourth step? If all the alphabets and numerical in clockwise order, okay, for example, like if I'm given a name A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, if it is in a clockwise order, so same order will be remain in a fifth step. Okay, you will not change the order. Okay, so in fourth step, whatever the order, same order will remain in the fifth step. Okay, so sometimes student, what will happen, they will change the order. Okay, and if you change the order, so your answer may be changed. Clear? Okay, so just note down in your sketchbook. Okay, okay, if you understand this method completely, okay, I can guarantee, okay, you can solve any kind of the problem. Okay, so projection of solid is very easy. Okay, once you draw in your once you note down in the sketchbook, okay, just tell me. If 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 there is a doubt in this method, okay, you can ask questions to me also. Okay, so you can fix this method in your mind. Okay, whenever object is resting on HP plane, so first you incline with HP plane, and secondly you will incline with vertical plane. Okay, so this is the order should be remain same. If it is resting on HP plane, so first you incline HP plane, and secondly you will incline with vertical plane. So first draw the true shape base below XY line. Second, draw the elevations part. Third, rearrange your elevations part at theta angle. Then draw reduced shape. Fifth one, rearrange your reduced shape at phi angle, and then finally answer. Okay. Now inclination with HP, that is called a theta. Inclination with vertical plane, that is called a phi. Okay, now all of you draw it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Okay, now is there any query regarding this method? Okay, now next one. Now next one is, okay, now next method, method 2. Solid is resting on vertical plane. Solid is resting on vertical plane. First inclined with vertical plane 5, second inclined with HP plane theta angle. Okay, so in a previous case it is resting on the HP plane. Now in a method 2, solid is resting on the vertical plane. Okay, so what is your step here? Okay, what is your first step? Where you will draw the true shape of base?
Above XY line.
Okay, very good. True shape of base you will draw above the XY line. Then second, draw plan below XY line. Plan means top view, draw below XY line. Okay, top view, draw below XY line. Then third one, rearrange your plan at 5 angle. Okay, if object is resting on vertical plane, so first you incline with vertical plane. So rearrange your plan at 5 angle. Okay, then in a fourth step you will draw reduce shape. Okay, you will draw reduce shape. Then in a fifth step, rearrange your reduced shape at a theta angle, and then final your answers. Okay, so it is similar like in a previous method. Okay, just shape will be changed. Okay, true shape above XY line, plan below XY line. Third step, rearrange your plan. Fourth, reduce shape. Then fifth, rearrange your reduced shape at theta angle, and then final answers. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, got it. Methods are clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, is there any doubt? Hello, is there any doubt in this method? Okay, so what will you do today? Okay, now from the next lectures we will continue the numericals. Okay, so today you will write down this method at least twice times in your sketchbook. Okay, all of you write down this method at least twice times in a sketchbook. Okay, so once you clear this method, okay, so we can solve any kind of the problems. Okay, so any typical problems, if you ask in exams, okay, any typical problems may ask in your exams, okay, you can solve it by using these methods. And if you follow these steps, okay, you can at least, suppose if you do not solve, sometimes students, if a problem is very typical and if you do not know how to deal with, but if you follow this step, okay, at least you can get some marks also. Okay, so any doubt for today's sessions? Okay, so what will you study to? Okay, I just revise all the whole lectures. First of all, we discuss about the what is a solid. So solid means three-dimensional object which have a length, width, and height. Then we classify the solid. So solid is classified into two categories: polyhedra and solid of revolutions. Which are the examples of the polyhedra? Which are the example of polyhedra?
Prism, pyramid.
Prism, pyramid. Okay, prism, pyramid, cube, and tetrahedron. Now, which are the example of solid of revolutions?
Cylinder.
Cylinder, cone, sphere, right? Okay, very good. Okay. Now, what is the difference between the prism and pyramid?
तो प्रिज्म में सर बेस और टॉप इक्वल होता है और पिरामिड में टॉप होता है वो वर्टेक्स होता है.
Okay, very good. So in a prism, top and bottom have an equal shape, but in a pyramid, one base point and one apex point. Okay. Then what is a cylinder? Okay, how will you draw the cylinder?
तो सर रेक्टेंगल होता है उसको
Rectangular
revolution
faces.
करेंगे 1.
Okay, rectangular faces rotate about the axis 360 degrees. So we draw the cylinder. Okay, so in cylinder, the plane figure is rectangle. Now, what is a plane figure in a cone?
Right
Right
triangle.
angle. Right angle triangle.
Okay, very good. Okay, very good. Okay, then what is the meaning of right solid and oblique solid? What is the difference between right solid and oblique solid?
Axis is perpendicular to base.
Very good. So right solid means axis is perpendicular to base.
और
Now in
oblique में inclined होती है axis.
inclined to the base. Very good. Okay, now what is the meaning of regular solid?
It has all equal sides.
Equal sides of base. Okay, if base have an equal sides, okay, so it is called as a regular solid. Now what is the meaning of frustum solid?
तो सर जो टॉप से थोड़ा वर्टेक्स से थोड़ा नीचे
Cutting plane.
क्या होता है?
Base से
The
parallel
bottom
कट
part
किया
of
होता
the
है.
cutting plane.
Okay, so if pyramid or cone, it is cut by if cutting plane is parallel to the base. Okay, if cutting plane is parallel to base, and if I'm remove the top portion, so remaining lower portion is called as a frustum of solid. So in frustum of solid, cutting plane is parallel to the base. Now what is a truncated solid?
तो सर inclined में cutting क्या होता है?
Okay, very good. Okay, then we discuss about two method, method 1 and method 2. What is the method 1? Solid is resting on
HP.
HP plane. First incline with HP plane, and
HP plane.
secondly incline with vertical.
Vertical plane.
Okay, so which are these steps? What is your first step?
तो सर first step true
Draw
shape.
true shape of base below XY line.
XY line.
Second, draw elevation.
Elevation
above,
on VP.
okay, above XY line. Then third one,
Above.
Inclined to HP.
okay, rearrange your elevation at theta angle. Then fourth one,
Vertical. To
draw
incline
reduced shapes.
vertical से sir.
Okay, very good. Draw reduced shapes. Fifth one.
Inclined with vertical.
Okay, incline with reduced shape, incline at vertical plane, and then draw the final shape. Okay. Now I have mentioned the two statement here. If object is resting on HP plane, one of its sides or corner, so what will you do?
Edge on the right hand side.
Okay, you will draw sides or corner on a right hand sides. Okay, very good. Okay. So now today we will leave. Okay, we finish our lectures. If you have any query, okay, you can ask me. Okay, Preet. Okay, thank you, Preet. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.